Over a year ago, I released my first official video called Giving Blackpink a Full Album as a Non-Stan. I got inspired to give them what I would like to see in a full album when YG announced they would finally be releasing one. The album ended up having some of their best songs, as well as some of their worst. I guess if you want the roses, you gotta pick yourselves from the thorns. Regardless of how people personally felt about it, love, hate, complete indifference, nearly everyone shared one complaint in common. A tiny number of songs. After 4 years of waiting, Blackpink's first full album had only 8 tracks. Look, I knew I was overshooting when I gave them a 16-track album, but I didn't realize it'd be by this much. Fans were happy to finally have a full album, but most couldn't help but feel a little let down. Now, we're once again in a very similar situation. All of the members are slowly but surely getting solo debuts. However, in typical Blackpink fashion, there ain't a lot of songs to go along with it. Jennie only got a single, Rose and Lisa only got 2 tracks each, and I highly doubt Jisoo will be any different. Despite there being some good ideas in these solos, they aren't fleshed out enough due to the lack of tracks. And so, just like last year, I got inspired. In this video, I will be giving each member of Blackpink a 7-track mini-album. Everyone who already saw my previous videos like this should know what I mean. For those who haven't, I basically just looked through my music playlist and picked out songs that I feel would suit a member's solo. I based my decision on if the songs had messages, genres, and sounds I thought would fit their album. I made sure to find stuff that would fit their already existing personas and skill sets, but I also wanted each girl to just try something new. They have to be songs I downloaded, I can't have repeat artists within the same album, and I won't use songs that I already used in previous album videos, even if it wasn't from a Blackpink album, just to make it more interesting. Okay, enough of the boring stuff. Let's get to what y'all came here for. First, we have the member who got her solo back in 2018, Jennie, which was before the group even had 10 songs. And it would take over 2 years before the next solo would drop. Yeah, there was a 2 to 3 year period where the Jennie favoritism from YG was pretty noticeable. Not her fault, of course, and thankfully a lot closer to being even now. Not perfect, but better. Jennie's image is very chic, glamorous, and bold. She's often one of the first in the group to catch your eye. Her core image lines up the most with Blackpink's, overflowing with confidence and fashionable outfits. You could make the argument that I could just give her some songs that would work for Blackpink and call it a day. But I've already made 4 of these motherfuckers. I want to do something else. While I definitely gave her some stuff that would be described as typical Blackpink, I went down a bit more of a sexy route. Many of the songs are more soft or sultry. You know those K-pop Ho anthem playlists? I want every song in this album to feel at home on one of those. That doesn't really make use of her cuter side, but I want to stay cohesive here. I also made sure to have a good balance between her singing and rapping. Cause God, I keep forgetting she's the main rapper, and I think YG does too. So, here's Jennie's first mini-album.
Wanna pit us against each other when we succeed, and for no reasons they wanna see us end up like we were Gina or Mean Girl. Princess or queen, tomboy or king, you've heard a lot you've never seen. Mother Earth, Mother Mary, rise to the top. Divine feminine, I'm feminine. Woman, let me be a woman. Woman. Just keep talking about it. We think too often about it. We can't just be cautious about it. I wanna get wild. Take me for a ride, boy. Show me you outside, boy. Know it's been a while, boy. Strip clubs and dollar bills. Still got my money. Patron shots, gonna get a refill. Still got my money. Strippers going up and down that pole. And I still got my money. 4 o'clock and we ain't going home. I still got my money. Like she ain't wearing no clothes. When she going so low, I bet they're gonna break up. But what the hell do you know? Oh, baby, it's you. I can feel you hating on me. Oh, baby, getting dumb on the drum, rum, pop, pop, pom, pom. Better run where I come, what a bomb, bomb. Sipping on coke and rum, getting so drunk. Everyone wonder run where she come from. Got gold. 갈고티는 떨리는 눈빛 너를 밝히는 유일한 불빛 of me. Yeah.
And that's Jennie's album. I did not intend her to give her so many songs in English, nor did I mean to give her 0 songs by male artists. I don't know how this happened, but it still sounds good, so I don't care. Even if I am a little unsure about the cohesiveness of it. Ah well, you can be the judge of that. Rose was the second member to get a solo, so she's up next. Rose's persona is by far the most girly in the group, and I get a lot of cottagecore and indie girl vibes. Pretty purples, oranges, and pinks, boatloads of flowers, long hair and garments to majestically blow in the wind. Her styling is so femme, I can count all of her stage outfits with long pants on one hand. Not even kidding there. So far, I think her solo has the biggest number of good ideas that aren't done justice. On the Ground has some actually pretty good lyrics touching upon having dreams, achieving them, and how they don't always make you feel fulfilled. But the emotional impact gets brought down by an abrupt beat jaw chorus, and the entire song sounds like one from 8 years ago. Gone is a fine breakup ballad, no complaints, but the small number of songs prevent the good ideas of her solo from being fully realized. So, I made my Rose solo album based off of some of the ideas presented here. I wanted to give the album a very bittersweet and nostalgic feel to it, reflecting on her youth and career and struggles. You know, stuff that Blackpink usually doesn't cover too often. Of course, I still gave her some songs about breakups and such. Basically, this is similar to what I think they're trying to do with her solo, but more fleshed out. Let's hope I do her justice.
We said crazy things like I refuse to look back thinking days were better just because the younger days. I don't know what's wrong.
You're nothing but skin. Oh, 'cause I keep digging myself down deeper. I won't stop till I get where you are. I keep running, I keep running, I keep running. They say 어디에 숨었니? 그놈의 별별 그 별의 별스타 그렇게나 찾기 어려웠나 별별
그 여름날의 공기 너무 차갑던 잿빛거리의 소리 숨을 마시고 네 문을 두드리네 We gon' change
뻔하디 뻔한 내 사랑 얘기야 흔하디 흔한 이별일 뿐이야 이미 알겠지만 너 없는 And there's a dazzling haze, a mysterious way about you, dear. Have I known you 20 seconds or 20 years?
And then she said she can't believe genius only comes along in storms of fabled foreign tongues, tripping eyes and flooded lungs, northern down.
This was the first of the albums I made. It wasn't too long after Rose solo had dropped, and I'm still pretty proud of it. It's probably the most cohesive both sonically and thematically. Funnily enough, I gave her the most songs by male artists out of the group, despite her image being the most over-the-top feminine. Interesting. Now we move on to the most recent member to get a solo, Lisa. Lisa's archetype is the wild child, the one with tons of energy and a rebellious edge. She's a tomboy with a lot of long pants and hip-hop fashion, but there's plenty of room for cute dresses and skirts. Fun fact, I actually made this little fan-made album before there was a single teaser of Lisa's solo. And gotta say, I think I'm a bit of a prophet. Her solo ended up exactly how I thought it would. Bombastic, super girl crush, lyrics that make you go, why, oh, why were these kept in the final draft? My album unintentionally expands upon the ideas in her solo. Minus the shitty lyrics. Hopefully. Hip-hop songs, sassy, energetic, loud beats that either hype you up or make your ears bleed. There is plenty of space for her to prove her skills as both a rapper and a dancer. However, I also made it a point to show her versatility. some slower stuff, some vocal parts, etc. Now, on to the album.
I just took her name and made that bitch a LLC. Stuff a couple stacks up in there, bitch, get on your feet. You make twice as much if you switch it up just to see. So you, he's rich and famous, but he's just a guy to me. Yeah, ain't tryna be cool like you. Wobbling around in your high heel shoes, I'm clumsy. Made friends with the floor. 2 for 1, you know a bitch by 4. And 2 left feet, you know I always drop. First thing a girl did was a bop. And the whole damn cake and the cherry on top. Shook up the bottom. 재미없어, no. 재미없어. 복잡한 계산은 너 멈추지 마. I'ma do it like this. 여기저기 손들어. I over-communicate and feel too much. I just complicate it when I say too much. I laugh about it, dream about that casual touch. Satisfied. 오늘도 넌 우리 집에 눌러 땡땡. 비밀번호도 다 알지만 I like them. 손잡이 여는 순간부터 늦은 데까지 떨어지기 싫어. 더 꽉 안아줘 baby. 이미 불빛이 내려놨지.
원하는 것처럼 아직 어서 많은 buzz 도심 속의 주인공 city 앞에 안 붙여 우린 오늘 좋지 않아 be the one yeah 셀 수 없는 밤 나 주인공이 돼 I've been playing with my team 우린 깨있어 내 직업에 감사함이 나의 원배 내 수저로 다 떠먹어버려 유비무와 나에게 걱정은 없어 Baseline 내 성과의 원천 Over 이제 모든 세상을 엎어 누구보다 열심히
There we go. I worry there's a slight problem with how cohesive this album sounds, but you can argue that kind of works with the wild card that is Lisa. Or maybe that's just a shitty excuse. Whatever! It is done! And it is good, I think. Finally, we have my favorite, Jisoo! So, Jisoo's was the hardest album for me to make. A, she doesn't have a solo yet, so I have jack shit to go off of. B, she tends to have the least amount of focus, so that also only gives me so much material. C, her image is the hardest to define. Not to say she doesn't have a unique image, she definitely does. It's just not as stand out. Like you have Blair Waldorf as a pop star, every indie girl's fantasy, and spunky tomboyish wildcard. Meanwhile, Jisoo, well, the best way I can describe her image is the mature girl next door. If that makes any sense. Blackpink as a whole is a more internationally focused group, but Jisoo has the most aspects of what traditionally appeals to a Korean audience. MV shots of her, while definitely emphasizing her beauty, also give her this air of mystery. Next to Jennie, her styling is the chicest, almost princess-like. However, Jisoo is more conservative and less flashy. And considering YG's whole brand is flashy, it contrasts a lot. Now you all see what I mean? Jisoo's image relies a lot on subtlety, which YG Entertainment is far from being. So, what the hell do I give her? OSTs for K-dramas? The Castlevania soundtrack? What the fuck do I do? But then, as I was listening to Sunmi's new album, I reached an epiphany. Synth, electro, and city pop. I went from there. I tried to give her plenty of opportunities to show just what her voice can do. The production is very sleek, and there's still a few high-tempo pop hits to draw the audience in. But a lot of it is more mellow. Many of the beats sound all dreamy, but they hide some lyrics that are less than happy. I'm aware I'm kinda shit at explaining this one. You'll just have to hear it.
Take a second, baby, slow it down. You should know I. Yeah, I bloom just for you. I bloom just for you. Yeah, I bloom just for you. I bloom. Did a full 180, crazy. Thinking about the way I was. Did the heartbreak change me? Maybe, but look at where
바꾸려고 해 모든 걸 바꾸는 feeling 그 이상을 초월해 넘어설래 Baby when you reach out to me now 절대 놓치지 않을 거야 나 손을 잡아줘
And that's the final one. It's kind of funny how the album I was the most worried about ended up being my favorite. I will say I didn't anticipate to give Jisoo more songs in English than Korean, considering she's the only member who isn't fluent in English. Hilariously enough, the member with the most songs in Korean is Lisa, who isn't Korean. Irony! And we're done! These album videos are still my favorite to make. This is probably going to be the last Blackpink related one I make for a while, cause what else can I do? Subunit albums? Actually, that's not a bad idea, but probably not going to happen anytime soon. Don't expect it. However, I'm open to suggestions from y'all. Any other groups with members I could give solos to? Maybe suggest album concepts I could give to certain groups. Like giving twice a death metal album or some shit. I don't know. Just any ideas so I can make more of these playlists and videos. I hope to see y'all soon. BTS related video next time. Bye bye!